Hey guys, welcome to the channel and welcome back to another video. On this video, guys, we're going to talk about frugal living. Frugal living tips and frugal living. I'm going to give you 9 things that I will never buy. Even if I could afford it, I'm not going to be buying these things that I'm going to talk about on this video. Now, in this video, if you have a question or you want to say something, feel free. The chat is always open to everybody. As you come in, guys, let me know where you're coming from, what city, what state, what county, what country, what hemisphere, what continent. Let me know where you're coming from, where you're checking in from. I really appreciate it as we get going. But this is going to be all about living frugal. Guys, give me 1 second here. Let me pull something up real quick. And I'm going to show you an old picture later on in this video. It's going to be an old picture from back in the day. And when I say back in the day, I mean way back in the day. So give me just a second here, guys. I'm pulling something up. All righty. Bear with me. All right. I think we got it. All right. So let me know where you're checking in from, guys. We got somebody from Augustine. Oh, Augustine from Lagos, Nigeria. Lagos, Nigeria. Good to have you. Suburban Detroit in the house. Houston is here. Houston, Texas. We got Grayman's in the house. Good to have you, Grayman. Don't buy bling. Hello, everybody from Ohio. Good to have you, Art of War. Ella McCrae. Good to have you as well from North Kakalaki. Atlanta, Georgia. Sunset on the Ocean. Thank you for being here. Boston, Massachusetts is here. Kirkland, Washington. We got somebody. Mrs. Moore from Atlanta. Good to have you, Mrs. Moore. Rachel from Salt Lake City, San Diego, California, Winnipeg, Canada. Look at where we're at, guys. We're all over the country, all over the world. We're all over the place. Connecticut's in the house. Sam, good to have you here as always. And someone from Augusta, Georgia. Afternoon from Maple Shade, New Jersey. Good to have you. Philly's in the house. Good to have you. Jay, hey, heads up. Bruce, good to have you, Bruce. Out there on the road. Good to have you, Bruce. NW's in the house. Good to have you guys. Let's have the conversation, right? If you have a question, put a Q by it. Appreciate it. Put a Q by it, and we'll try to get to an answer. Let me know where you're here, guys. Let's see. We got some from. I'm just reading them off again. Good. Hey, South Africa's in the house. Wow, long way away. Good to have you here. Dallas Fort Worth in the house as well. I'm a pretty frugal person, guys. Okay. I'm not a big spender. I'm going to try not to go to my eyes too much, but I got those overactive tear ducts. And you know what happens? They only come out when I go live for the most part, right? Good to have you here from checking in from Facebook as well. Good to have you here from LinkedIn. You guys checking in from X, Twitter. Good to have you as well. Topeka's in the house. Good to have you, Topeka. Not far. Memphis 10, Shelby County is here as well. So I'm a pretty frugal person, okay? I'm not a big spender. I'm not a person that splurges. And you see me here, and I typically have on either this shirt or I have on one of my black shirts, or I might have on a gray shirt, but I'm a pretty basic person. Not big on all the extra stuffs and all that types of, and that really helps me in terms of my spending. It helps me in terms of my tracking my money and all that good stuff as well. Somebody said I'm looking to buy 2 family. We'll talk about put a Q in front of that horse Jupiter. Put a Q in front of that. But let me start with this story, because this is one thing that I will never buy again, even if I could afford it. But one time, I think it was a birthday of mine, I had my kids, 2 of my daughters, purchase me a pedicure. And a pedicure is where they do your toes or something. Now, I've never had a manicure. I never had a pedicure. Never had a what do you call it? A massage or anything like that. Right? Not big on any of that type of stuff. Right? I don't like people touching me like that too much. Right? So, but one time they went ahead and purchased me one of these deals, and it was pretty cool, right? It was interesting. They like getting their toes and stuff done, and I had never had that done before, so I agreed to it. Said, "Hey, let's give it a shot." Somebody's going to do my toes, right? Great stuff. Excellent. Do my toes. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. So when I get there, you first you got to wait, right? And it's kind of hustle bustle around the shop, and I never done this thing before, so I'm looking around and I'm saying, "Wow, this is pretty cool. This is kind of like on TV." It's my turn. I'm up, right? I'm waiting, and so then I see, and I'm not paying attention while I'm waiting. I'm just reading the magazines or whatever they have sitting over there, and it's kind of like a barber shop for ladies almost, right? Now, I'm a bald head guy, guys, as you can see. I don't have hair. But but and when I did have hair for a lot of years, I cut my own hair. I shaved my head off in 1995, and I've been going bald ever since 95 because I started losing my hair. And so I haven't been to a barber shop in a long time, but I grew up in a barber shop, right? Fellas sit around, they talk, boom, boom, boom. But when you go into this place where they do your feet or your toes or whatever, and your manicure, it's kind of like it feels like kind of like a barber shop for ladies, right? Except they're not, some of them are talking, but they're not, it's a little different, but it's sort of similar, right? So they call my name and I get up in the chair, right? And I'm in the chair and I'm in the chair and I'm saying, okay, right, this is interesting. So, we see this stuff on TV all the time, and I don't think about it, or we see it on social media. And this lady goes in on my toes, right? Small lady, an Asian lady. She goes in on my toes, and then somehow, out of the blue, she starts moving up on my legs, my ankles and my legs. And I'm saying, okay, wait a minute, I thought we doing pedicure here, right? And I'm saying, is this part of the service? I didn't know if I was getting a different treatment or something because she's all up on my calves and she's got the on my ankles. And I'm saying, okay, I didn't know. I got a little nervous there, right? I'm thinking, why is she all up on my calves and legs? And I wasn't quite understanding it until I, checked with my daughter. They said, and they were there too. My daughters were there as well. My wife was there, and I didn't. I was a little nervous though. I said, I don't know if there was going to be some, you know, a newscaster come around the corner or something. Hey, we caught you in here. Like, wait a minute, I'm just getting my toes done. So I didn't know if it was. I didn't know if I didn't realize that a pedicure meant your ankles, your feet, the massage of your calves and your lower leg and all the way up to your kneecaps. And I'm saying, because I didn't know that. This is my first time ever doing it. I was a little bit nervous. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? Needless to say, listen, and she went in on the toes and stuff, but she also went in on everything. And I'm saying, I was a little nervous. But anyway, I didn't want to be on CNN or something, hey, massage parlor. I didn't know if they had a massage parlor in the back. Anyway, but I don't think I'm going back there anymore, right? Listen, pedicures and manicures and massages and all those type of things, that's just not something I want to do or like to do. Did it one time because they brought me there and said, let's give it a shot. I said, hey, I'm open to it. Let's give it a shot. But I don't think I'm going to be going back. That's something that I will never. That's number one. Okay, out of the 9 things that I will never buy, even if I could afford it, that's something I'm gonna never do again in my entire life. Not that I was too nervous or anything, because after they explained it to me, it was cool. But it's like I've done my own hands for the last 50 years and sort of got help with my toes. And I'm not really caring too much about what other people think about those things. So I'm good. I'm good, right? That's $40. I don't know. I don't know what it cost. It was a gift to me. I don't know what does it toes cost like 30 or 40 or $50 or something like that. And plus you got to give them a tip or something like that, I think. But that's $40 I can spend somewhere else. Right? Let's just be honest. I'm not the dude that keeps his fingers or his nails and his toes done. Right? I'm just not that type of guy. I would rather be outside, moving some dirt or doing something else with my hands. And, I'm not into having beautiful hands and beautiful feet or long nails and, manicured toes and getting massage. Now, listen, if I was a professional athlete, then I would understand that massages do sort of help you relax your muscles and so forth. I get it for those type of therapeutic reasons, right? but just to go hang out and lay down and let somebody rub on me, I mean, or rub my toes or rub my calves, I just I don't understand it. So it's just it's not something that I will ever, ever, ever spend money on, right? Oh, listen, I'm gonna give you these other 8 things, but I had to lead with that one because that one, it wasn't really traumatic, but it was just very different for me. I've been to a chiropractor once, and a chiropractor is a little different because he's gonna crack and move and shift, and you're gonna feel better. I felt better when I came from the chiropractor, but that pedicure thing was a little bit much, you know. I wanted to tell her, "Hey, just stick to the toes, lady, you know, just the toes is what we're doing here," right? But she, you know, she looked like it was she was moving too. It's like she was I was like we were just a shop. I was just a number running through the line or something. Boom, 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 boom. She's fast and moving, and I'm saying, slow down now, slow down now. We got to relax on this thing. So I'm just not big on that. That's the first thing that I will never buy. Even if I could afford it, I'm not getting regular massages or regular toes or regular nails. Somebody said $30. Where what is NW? What does it cost for a manicure pedicure from somebody? Somebody said, "Don't forget past the knee." No, no, they didn't. She didn't go past the knee. Good morning, Namisha. How you doing? Tab, Nebraska's here. Good to have you. Yeah, it's just like, but you know, some people like it and some people enjoy it. I just don't get into it, and I'm one of those, like, I mean, I'm an old school manly type man. I don't get into massages and things like that. Let's see, massage is something I've done for medical. Yeah, medical reasons is understandable. You know, if you have some type of tension, or I don't know, maybe you have some physical therapy might include some type of massaging if you had injuries or something. I'm just not into it. Um, listen, what we're talking about is this is one of the things that I will never buy, even if I can afford it. No manicures, no toenails, no nothing. I'm not doing it. If you do it, that's cool. I'm not mad at you, but it's just not me. 50 bucks, somebody said. Is it $50? Hey, Southern Border, Arizona, good to have you here. Memphis 10 again. It's somebody said that's just part of what's part of hygiene, True Snow? Are you saying that getting a manicure and pedicure is part of hygiene? Yeah, I like to I cut my own fingernails, right? Toes has went up more than a week of gas. What is toes? I mean, what does this cost to get a pedicure? Because I just don't I have no clue. That's just an air like I know a lot about a lot of things, but I don't know anything about toes and nails and all that type of thing. Back massages and mani pedis and things like that. Just not me. So I got 8 more things I'm going to share with you, but no more pedicures, no more manicures, no, never had a massage, won't get a massage. I'm just not going there. Let's go to number 2. Let's see. Number 2 is this. Number 2 is this. Now, one thing that I like to do, guys, and I'm gonna be transparent on this video, so I hope you hang in there with me. Do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button for me. Everybody stop what you're doing and hit the like button for me. Hit that like button just as a favor. Just tap it. Boom. Just real quick. If it's on your TV, your phone, wherever you're watching this on, just hit the thumbs up button. I'm gonna be transparent here. I'm gonna share some things with you guys that you may not know about me. But these are things that I wouldn't buy. I mean, and some of you know the story, some of you don't know the story, but I come from very humble beginnings, poor and all that stuff. Grew up, had a negative $30,000 net loss to my name at the age of 30, and was able to turn that around into a 7-figure net worth today as we speak. So, but along the way, I didn't do some things and don't do some things or don't spend money like some other people do. And I'm not mad at you if you do. Let me just make that full disclosure. If you spend money on these things, this is a judgment-free zone. I'm not going to criticize you for that. It's just we're talking about things that I don't buy, right? The things that I just will never buy. And some of you can relate and some of you may not relate, and that's okay. Everybody's different. Personal finance is personal. Some people always spend money in the areas that they're most comfortable with, and they want to spend money, and that's okay, right? I'm not mad at you for that at all. But this is just me. So I like to work out, right? I like to lift. Now I don't lift heavy anymore. Those days are way over. My creatine and extra protein powder days was back in the 90s. Okay. But I don't work out like that heavy with weights anymore. There's no need to. I just want to stay in shape. One of the things I have trouble with doing is stretching. I hate to stretch. Stretching is painful to me. I don't like to stretch, but I like to lift. I don't lift heavy. I like to do some cardio and sweat because I think as I get older, the most important muscle that I care about most is my heart and making sure my heart is okay and I have good cardio. So I try to do cardio, try to walk almost every day, at least 2 to 3 miles a day because I don't go into a job. So I work from home. So I like to sweat a little bit and I walk just about every day. But one of the things that I do not spend money on ever, I've never spent money on this, and that is these expensive gym clothes and fancy gym clothes and fancy armbands and fancy. I don't spend money to go to the gym. Only thing I spend money on at the gym is the gym membership, right? I don't. I look at that for me, and this is just me. I look at that as more of a that's kind of a waste of money for me to go spend a lot of money on something I'm going to sweat in. Right. I mean, when I go to the gym, I don't go to look a certain way. I don't go to attract anybody. I go to work and I really could care less how good I'm looking, how smooth my outfit is, I don't care about that at all. Not one iota. And so don't get me wrong now. I'm not the guy that's going to be at the gym with jeans on. Okay. I'm not now. I have walked around the track with jeans on before, but I don't really go to the gym. I go to the gym as comfortable as possible, and that might be some shorts, or it'll be some shorts. It might be some sweatpants. It might be, but it's nothing fancy. It's nothing. I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Look, most of my clothes I don't even buy. I haven't bought clothes. Period. If you see the shirts you see me in now, listen. The shirts you see me in, sometimes you'll see me do this live broadcast or a video in a Nike shirt, a black or gray or a white Nike shirt. Those shirts were purchased for me. Those were a Christmas gift from one of my children, right? So I don't this shirt, I'm gonna be honest with you. This shirt I have on right now, I probably had this shirt for 15 years. Now I did recently buy this hat. It's a Kansas City Monarchs, a Negro League baseball cap that I bought maybe about, I guess, a year ago. I just don't buy clothes. And I definitely don't buy fancy gear to go to the gym and I'm going to sweat in it. Call me frugal, call me crazy, call me what you will. I'm okay. I've probably been called worse, right? But I never have seen the need to spend lots of money on gym clothes, right? Shorts or armbands or, apps. And I just don't do it. I started working. This is a weird story. I started working out, guys, when I was about 9 years old for Christmas. My mother bought me, my parents bought me a dumbbell set. And I wrote off to anybody remember Charles Atlas, the little ad used to be in the back of the magazines. I wrote off to that and they saw me right off to that and said, and it was about isometrics and so forth. Anyway, they bought me my first dumbbell set. From the years from 10 years old to about 14 years old, I used to do my curls and stuff in front of the TV, watching my favorite show of all time. My favorite show of all time is Three's Company. Anyway, watching Three's Company, I'm doing my curls and stuff like that, right? I'm doing all of my stuff with my dumbbell. Then when I got to be 16, 15, 16, I used to go to the gym at the high school. When I got to be 18, 19, I used to go to the gym. When COVID happened, we canceled our gym membership in 2021 or something when COVID happened. That was the first time I didn't have a gym membership since 1993. No, since 1992, because I always had a gym membership. I always go to the gym, right? For years and years and years and years. But I never have purchased fancy gym clothes. That's just not something I do. I don't spend a lot of money on gym clothes. I really don't spend a lot of money on clothes at all, right? I am just a very, very incredibly I don't want to call it cheap. I would prefer to call it more of I'm very, very unfancy, right? So I don't buy clothes. I have nice clothes, right? I don't. If you saw me, you would say you wouldn't think that I don't buy clothes very often at all. You wouldn't think that. You'd never think that because I know how to dress myself up and look nice, right? But the one thing I would buy, the one thing I would spend good money on is probably some dress shoes, right? Because they can last a long time. You can get the soles redone and all that good stuff. But I've just never. I don't understand buying spending 50 or 100 or $200 on something to look nice in the gym, and then you're gonna go sweat in it, and it's like so. I go to the gym in t-shirts and things like that. I'm not raggedy. It's not torn up. Just because you don't spend a lot of money on stuff doesn't mean you got to look horrible, right? I don't look horrible, but I just call it frugal. I guess that's the best way to say it. Number three. Let me go to number three. Now, let's see. Let me go back to the chat. Dress shoes. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I can tell you about some good Allen Edmonds and all that good stuff. Three's Company. Yeah, Three's Company. I'm just being transparent here. Hey, I know I've watched every episode of Three's Company. I know every single I know all the characters, everything about them, all that good stuff. Somebody said Target sells good gym clothes for inexpensive. Maybe I'd try it someday. I don't know. I'll try it. Number three is this. Now I'm gonna show you a picture. I'm gonna show you a picture. Number three is let me share my screen before I tell you what number three is. All right. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. And if you're watching here on YouTube or you're watching anywhere, I think my screen will go. This is me. If I can find it. I don't know if I can find it or not. Let me try to find it. Give me a second here. How do I do this? Okay, I'm going to try to share this. I don't know if I can share it or not. Let me see how I can do this. Look, it's not coming up. Oh, here it is right here. Got it. All right, here it is right here. All right. You guys see that on the screen. Let me know if you see that on the screen, right? You see that guy right there? I'm gonna pan it up here. Give me a second here. Put myself down here, and I'm gonna pan it up just a little bit. If I can, let me figure out how to pan it up. There it is, right there. Bam. You guys see that guy right there? Bam. That is me in 1988 purchasing my first and only never again brand new car. The third thing that I'll never buy, even if I can afford it, is a brand new car. But I did it. You see that picture right there? That's me standing in front of my brand new 1988 Ford Escort. Found it on my computer, thought I'd share it with you guys. But let me pan it out so you can see the actual see that right there? 1988 Ford Escort, October 24th, 1988. When you got a new car at that dealership, they took a picture of you. I still have that picture. That picture was actually a map. I mean, not a map. It was a calendar. Let me see if I got it still. I think I closed it. Give me a second here. It was a calendar, right? Let me see here. I accidentally closed it. I didn't mean to close it. Let's see here. Bap. Bring it back up. Bring it back. I'm bringing back the old memories right here, guys. I'm bringing back the old school memories. But that's real. I'm being transparent here. All right. That's real. I don't think I can I zoom it in? Look at that dude. Oh my goodness. Man, that's when I had hair. 1988, the end of 88. So I was only 18 years old. I know I look like everybody said that those old pictures, the young people look old in the older pictures. I was 18 years old. I had on, you guys wouldn't believe what shoes those are. Those were called Pro Wings. If you don't remember that, those were Pro Wings from Payless back in the day. You can tell I wasn't buying a lot of clothes back then either, right? But check out those biceps though. Boom. Told you I was lifting back then. This is 1988. So that's my brand new 1988 Ford Escort. That car that I purchased right there, I had to choose. I had $1,500 down. The interest rate was over 20%. Remember, 1988, look, mortgages, the interest rate on a mortgage in 1988 was 13, 14%. So everything was high, right? Money was expensive. So it was a two-door Hatchback, what, $275 a month, cost about $15,000, something like that. Put $1,500 down, and it had no air conditioner. I didn't have enough money to have, I had to have either AM FM stereo cassette or an air conditioner. I chose the AM FM cassette. I chose it. I didn't, and so for all the years I had the car in the heat of the summer, never had air conditioner. Okay. How silly was that? That was a dumb move, wasn't it? But I wasn't thinking. I'm 18 years old. I got my brand new car. I'm never buying a brand new car ever, ever again. Right? That's the first and the only. You spend less when you pay cash or anything, right? Buying a car forces you to, have these unreasonable costs, right? A new car. This is a new car. I bought a lot of used cars. This car depreciated in value the moment I drove it off the lot, right? So I had no concept of building wealth. Zero. I had no concept the insurance, the full coverage insurance that I had to get was going to be XYZ amount. I had no concept of tags and registration, of the maintenance and the upkeep, right? I had no concept of it. I just wanted a brand new car. I was a waiter at a restaurant and had saved up a bunch of money. Said, I'm gonna go do something different. I didn't know that tires cost money, right? It was a tire back then, $50, $40. But that's it. Just wanted to share that with you guys and say that I've been in this thing for quite a while, right? Quite a long time. And some of you remember those Ford Escorts back in the day, right? You can get them in black. You can get them in the red I had. You could get them in the, some people would paint them, fix them up, purple. They do all kind of things with them, right? White, yeah. But I'm not speaking of cars, let me just say this. I bought used cars, but I've never had a fancy radio system in a car, because where I'm from, you had to have the nice beat in the car. You didn't have to, but a lot of people had the nice beats in the car. They had the rims on the car. Some people would have the hydraulics on the car, the system, boom, 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 boom. That was a big thing when I was coming up, right? Where I'm from, right? But I never had a fancy radio system, didn't have a pull-out Alpine, Kenwood, whatever, you name it. Never had the rims. I didn't care anything about that. Even when I was younger, I didn't care about that stuff. In fact, let me share this. This is another transparent moment. Don't beat me up if you're a big car person, but check this out. Today, I drive a 17-year-old car. I told you, I'm frugal, right? Today, I drive a 17-year-old car. It has about 180,000 miles on it. Drives fine, nothing wrong with it. Just got new tires on it. Just got new brakes on it. I do got to get front brakes here shortly. But it's the very first car that, don't laugh, guys. You got to promise me you're not going to laugh on this. All right. Give me a thumbs up if you won't laugh. All right. I got to make sure you don't laugh at this. Okay. But again, we're being transparent. I'm showing you that frugality, this is who I am. So don't laugh. Give me a thumbs up if you will not laugh when I share this fact with you about my current car, my current everyday driver. Tony Gold, Mrs. Moore, thanks for the thumbs up. Just give me a thumbs up and let me know you will not laugh, because this is going to be, you probably haven't heard this before, okay? Somebody said Ford Escort mini trucks were in. Yeah, I was calm. I've never bought a brand new car. It's a ripoff, Rhonda said. Yep, you're right. It can be in a lot of ways. I'm okay. Somebody said I'm gonna laugh. Come on, don't do me like that, Dave. Come on, point plant base. Thanks for the thumbs up. Okay, my daily driver right now, my 17-year-old car that I drive, it's the first daily driver car that I've had that actually has a CD player in it. It has a CD player. Now, before this car, I drove a 97 Escort for about 2 or 3 years after my daughter brought the car back, 97 Escort, from college in 2017 till about 2020, 21. My other daughter was driving this car, and I was driving the 97 Escort. the cassette didn't work in that. Before the 97 Escort, I was driving my Tundra truck, and it didn't have CD, cassette, or anything. It had a radio in it. Before that, back in 2010 or something, I can't think of what I was driving. But the point is that the car I drive today is the first car I've ever driven. I sound weirdly excited about it, but it's the first car I've driven that has a CD player. I've never driven another car that had a CD player. And I know they make some cars nowadays. I guess most cars nowadays are made without a CD player, and they just have like I don't even know what they have in it. Like, do they have like Sirius FM radio or something like that? They have they have like a satellite, not satellite radio. You can tell that I don't know much about new cars because I don't drive new cars. I don't even know what you call it. They have Bluetooth. That's what you call it. Because even the car I drive has a Bluetooth, and so I'll hook up my Bluetooth. I had to get an extension thing to plug in because it's old. I had to get an extension thing I got on Amazon to plug in to get the Bluetooth to work. But the point is that I am not big on new cars. And a buddy of mine, he might be watching. A buddy of mine just bought a 2-year-old Ram truck. Brought over to the house the other day a couple weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it was nice. I said, "Man, this is luxury." I mean, I'm sitting in that car, in that truck, like, man, this is luxurious. I'm looking around it was a 2021, 2022 Ram truck, and I'm saying, man, this is crazy. It's like, I don't know, it felt like a Rolls Royce or something, but because I'm just not that car dude. I'm not the dude that's outside washing the car, twice a week, right? I'm just, I wash my car here and there, but I'm just saying it's just like it's a car. The whole purpose for me as a car is to get me from here to the grocery store or from point A to point B, right? So I'm not into new cars. I will never buy a new car again. I showed you the picture. I'm not buying a new car again. It'll be a 2 or 3-year-old car, right? Right now, it's a 17-year-old car. I do have my wife drives a 2015 car, but that's still 9 years old, right? So, guys, do me a favor. Don't forget to hit the like button for me. Let's go to number 4. So I hope you didn't laugh at me. All right. Please tell me you didn't laugh at me. Some of you might have laughed at me. Classic antique. Let's see. Nothing funny about that. You can tell I like old stuff, right? Look at the phone. The phone back here. It works, right? I like vintage stuff, right? Somebody says I drive a 2006 Camry with $130,000 income. All right. I'm not mad at you. Awesome. CD player, my car doesn't even work, but hey, no car. Do they make cars with CD players? I mean, do they put CD players in cars anymore? Or is it just me? I don't know what they do right now. Like if I was to go see a brand new car, would there be a CD player in any of them? Right? I have no clue, but maybe you guys know and don't know, and I don't know, right? But I'm not buying new cars, so I don't know. I just don't know. Did not laugh. Thank you, Beavis. I appreciate you. I still play my CD. Yeah, I actually have CDs in the car, and I play them. Right? I toss them in there. Right? Let's see here. I have a local DJ here in Kansas City who made a CD for me. He made a old school hip hop CD for me from the 80s and 90s, and he made them back in I think 2005 or 6. So I'll play those every now and then. But I'm not a big music person anyway. 89 Caddy. Woo. Okay, let's see. 2015 does. Okay, thank you, Mrs. Moore Frank. Look at that phone, the touch-tone phone. The touch-tone phone does work. All right, so let's go to number 4. The fourth, I got 9 of these. I'm going to run through them quick. I won't hold you long. The fourth thing is this. I don't buy first model anything. I never buy the first model of anything. Now, I'm not an iPhone person, right? I don't do any products or Apple products, I guess they're called. I don't do the first model of any technology of anything. I don't want to be the first user because there's always bugs to work out. So I don't spend money being a test dummy, right? A test dummy, smart technology, smart home devices that do all the work for me, cost a whole bunch of money. And they really make me lazier in the process. No thanks for me. So I don't buy these first of anything. I'm not the latest technology person, as you can probably tell, right? I'm not going out and getting the latest PS this or the PS that. I don't even buy that for my grandchildren, right? I just don't do it. Not the latest this and the latest that. That's the newest of anything. The newest of anything always has problems in terms of technology or whatever. I'm an Android person, right? Don't beat me up. But, you know, my son who used to work at Nebraska Furniture Mart, right? He was a salesperson on the sales floor. He he enjoys laughing at the fact that I'm not a technology person and I don't buy the latest this or latest that, right? It wasn't until about 2020, I think about 2021 when I had all flat screens in the house, right? I had a tube TV, I had a big TV up until about 2021 or so. And you know, somebody bought me a flat screen TV for like a Christmas gift or something, and so they said you got to get rid of that old TV I had. So I don't buy the new and latest of anything. Let's go to number 5. Number 5 is this. Now, in that picture I showed you earlier, I had on old sneakers, right? I had on the Pro Wings from back in the day. And if you was back in the day, you know what Pro Wings are, right? One thing I've never purchased is I've never, ever, ever purchased expensive sneakers or tennis shoes, whatever you call them. What do you guys call them? We call them tennis shoes where I'm from. Some people call them gym shoes. I remember I had some family in Chicago. They call them gym shoes. Some people call them sneakers, right? Or basketball shoes, right? Now, full disclosure, I played basketball all of my life, almost once a week until I was about 51 years old. Except when I was 37 years old, I tore my Achilles playing basketball. I was on the court playing basketball, tore my Achilles. So when I tore my Achilles, I'm gonna tell you guys something that some of you would probably know. When I tore my Achilles, I had on some Starburys. You remember those basketball shoes from Stephon Marbury? They're like $25 shoes, right? Probably why I tore my Achilles in them. But I've just never purchased. I never owned a pair of Jordans, right? Jordans are like popular brand of shoes that people buy. I've never purchased a pair of Jordan sneakers, right? I've never spent $200 on gym shoes, sneakers, tennis shoes. I just have never, ever done it. No, that's something I will never, ever buy, even though I can afford it, right? Yeezys. Somebody said Yeezys. Yeah, I've never purchased fancy tennis shoes. I just don't feel the need or the purpose of it. I'm going to go play some ball in them. They don't have to be fancy, right? I'm not a sneakerhead, although remember I mentioned I sold over $100,000 on eBay in a matter of 5 or 6 years. Sold $100,000 on eBay, and 95% of everything I sold was shoes. But it wasn't the high fancy sneakers. It was regular women's shoes, flats, heels, wedges, whatever. Regular men's shoes, dress shoe, a lot of dress shoes because I used to sell shoes part time at Dillard's a long time ago. But I've just never been into buying expensive sneakers. Never owned a pair of Jordans in my life. Never will. Yes, tearing my Achilles was painful. Very, very painful. But I went to bed on it and woke up the next morning. It was swollen, and I figured something must be wrong. So I got rushed to the hospital the next morning. But it was a weird feeling because you had your foot was just dangling there. You couldn't do anything about it, right? Just dangling. So, but yeah, I was in a cast for a while and a boot for a while, and it was a long recovery. But I was back on the court in about a year playing that ball, right? But let's see here. I'm just running through the chat, guys. I got some more for you. Just sharing. I'm being transparent. Give me a thumbs up for being transparent, right? Not into sneakers. I got a few more for you guys I want to share with you. Never have a pair of Jordans either. Art of War said, I don't buy gym shoes for fashion. I get the right style for function. The older you get, the more you're going to care about comfort over look, for sure, right? That's why when I sold shoes on eBay, there's a reason I wasn't selling the 7-inch pump or the glass, 6-inch pump, or I wanted my customers, I preferred to sell, especially in women's clothes, really, really comfort flats, because you could sell them for a little more, because people that get older, they're more willing to spend money on a shoe that's comfortable, right? So you would be surprised that people that have like diabetic shoes, and that need a thicker heel, or those things sell, what they call a therapeutic shoe. Those things sell for a lot, because people that have foot problems are usually a little older, have a little more money, and are willing to spend more money for comfort than they are to look cute, right? Let's see, I like Reebok and Converse. Let's see, I agree. 200 plus is way too much for price for shoes, Bernadette said. Let's see here. You can get beat up if you accidentally step on someone's Jordans. Yeah, Jordans. I just never understood Jordans. Guys, we need you to smash that like button for me. Appreciate that, Mrs. Moore. Hit that like button, guys, for me. And just tap it. Just tap it. Bruce Wayne, appreciate the thumbs up. Let's see here. Let me go to number 6. Number 6 is, I wish I could pan this camera around for you. I've got about boom, boom, boom. I got about 500 albums in this room. And you look at this vintage phone, I have a vintage 1976 stereo system right here. Vintage 1976 Panasonic stereo system with an 8-track player, a turntable, but that turntable doesn't work. So on top of it, I have another turntable. And this system right here it's beautiful. And then over here, I have an old school boom box that plays CDs and cassettes. And then I have about 400 albums. I got a collection of about 70 or 100 rap albums from the 80s and 90s, early 90s. And I have a bunch of R&B, 70s, OJs, you name it, Kool and the Gang. I even got some ABBA, some one of my favorites, Doobie Brothers over there. I have a lot of stuff over there. So it's not just a phone that's vintage in the room, it's other stuff. So I like music, but here's number 6. I don't like music enough to pay for music subscriptions. I will never, ever, ever buy, what are they? What is the ones that cost? A $9.99 subscription to, I don't even know who they are. I don't keep music. I have an app for Pandora on my phone, but I don't use Pandora. And what's the other one? Spotify. I don't listen to music that much on my devices, right? So if I want to listen to music, I'll listen to it sometime, but it's going to be free. I pay for music. I buy a few albums here and there. If I go to an estate sale, I see a lot of vintage albums. I'll get some stuff. I have older stuff. I have Bobby Blue Bland. I have, you name it. I even have some older Frank Sinatra. I got older albums, but I just don't pay for music subscriptions, because when I pick up a device like a cell phone, I'm listening to music. If I listen to it, it's going to be free. I'm not paying for music. Music is on. I haven't listened to radio in 20 years, but it's on the radio for free. It's on YouTube for free. I don't pay to listen to music unless I'm buying a vintage or an album that I want to listen to. So I will never buy music on a subscription plan. That's one thing I just will not do. Call me strange, call me weird, but I'm not doing it. I'm gonna hold on to my frugal roots on that. Somebody said, what are the titles of the books behind me? You got a little bit of everything. When We Ruled, Stock Market 101, 48 Laws of Power, Powernomics, John Buck O'Neill by Phil Dixon. And I got some money books as well. But I have a whole library of stuff. I got tons of books, older, newer, all kind of classics, etc. I love to read a lot, right? So yeah, I have the greatest era of music, in my opinion, was the 70s. Second greatest era of music was the 80s. I got Cyndi Lauper over there. I got you name it, right? And I got a lot of Commodores, GQ. I could go down the list, right? Aretha, Whitney. I got all kind of stuff over there. I got Temptations. I got 4 or 5 Temptations. Smokey Robinson. You name it, right? So I got some 60s stuff. I got some Dinah Ross and the Supremes, but I got mostly 70s. Now, I was not a 70s funk person, right? I'm not a big Bootsy Collins, George Clinton person. Never did really like them too much. But Teddy Pendergrass, you name it, right? It's over there. So, but I don't buy music subscriptions. I don't mess around with music subscriptions. I just don't think this. Somebody said Spotify. Yes. Yeah. Dancing Queen. Yeah. Dancing Queen. We are the, I won't sing it, but you get what I'm saying. I like classic music, right? Right. Good classic music, right? Whether it's soft rock, whether it's 70s R&B, whether it's Isaac Hayes, all kind of stuff in terms of 70s and even some 80s as well. Staple singers, right? Some really favorite stuff over there. I do have Rich Dad Poor Dad. I got the first version of Rich Dad Poor Dad. Not a big fan of his 4 quadrants, but I do at least have that first one. That's a classic. All the purple stuff he's put out since then. But question: what do you say to the people who disagree with you and say the greatest era of music is now? I have no problem with that, Walla Mala. I don't. I'm not going to overly judge or be critical of people that think the greatest music era is right now. Nothing wrong with that. Everybody has their era. Like my mom is going to be 50s, 60s. I'm going to be 70s, 80s. Somebody might be 90s. I know a lot of people that are 90s, love the 90s music. Some people are now. That's cool. Totally up to you. I don't get what all. I don't like a lot of the style of the music now, right? All the negativity in the music and so forth. I'm not big on all that kind of stuff. Somebody said Teddy P. Yeah, Teddy P. Genesis was great too. I have I got a Phil Collins album over there as well. Got one Phil Collins. Al Green. I got several Al Greens. Okay, so let's go to number 7. I'm being transparent. Nothing wrong with music, but I think you can get music for free. That's how I like to do it. Number 7 is this one. When I was growing up a lot, guys, we moved all the time. One of the things I will never buy, and I know people that buy this, I get perplexed when I see people that buy this. But you guys tell me this. What about if you spend money on this, I want you to raise your hand or give me a thumbs up. Have you ever purchased moving boxes? Boxes to move, right? Moving boxes. Have you ever purchased moving boxes? Me personally, I will never, ever go buy boxes. Not something I'm going to do. Not something I'm going to do. I will never buy a box, right? You might be saying, well, why don't you buy a box? Why pay for moving boxes when boxes are literally all around us? They're everywhere. I'm never going to. You can walk in. This is what we did for a lot of years because I lived in a whole bunch of places growing up. You can literally walk into a grocery store or not just there's a lot of businesses that need to get rid of boxes, right? Now, nowadays, I don't know how they do it as much at grocery stores. Some grocery stores won't do it. They want to crush them, whatever. But some will still do it, especially smaller ones, right? Or smaller stores. And simply ask them, hey, do you have some boxes? Or what day can I come back to pick up a few of those boxes and get them off your hands? Oftentimes, they're 100,000% free. I don't know about, the different parts of the country or the world, but many times boxes just get thrown away, right? So many pounds of boxes get thrown away or sent to recycle every day. You can typically get a box for free. If you can get a box, ask. If you're planning to move and you need about 30 moving boxes, don't go to U-Haul. Excuse me, U-Haul. I'm sorry, U-Haul. Don't go to U-Haul and go buy a bunch of boxes and spend a whole bunch of money on some boxes. Don't do it. Boxes are basically free, right? Somebody said, we're moving now, brought home 20 boxes yesterday alone for free. Thank you. Teresa Lee said, thank you. Don't buy boxes. Target. Somebody said Walgreens, Target. The only movements we buy is tall wardrobe boxes. U-Haul. Don't. I will never, ever, ever buy a box, even though I can afford to buy as many boxes as I want. I'm not going to buy boxes when boxes are thrown away for free all the time. Right? There's all different types of stores, not just grocery stores that get rid of boxes. I ain't buying a box. Good afternoon to you, Miracle. Good to have you here. Thank you for I appreciate that, Miracle. Thank you so much for that. Boxes, Costco, Lowe's, Home Depot, Walgreens, Target, your local grocery store. Listen, you can go to the local hair store, all right? The local beauty shop store. They get boxes all the time and they put them out in the back. They don't know what to do with them. You can go anywhere and get a box. Don't buy a box. I will never buy a box, even though I can afford it. Let's go to number 8. Number 8 is this. I will never do this, even if I can afford it, as long as I'm healthy enough. I will never have anything other than maybe a pizza, probably want not even that, delivered to my home as food. I will never, some of you are going to beat me up about this one because I know a lot of you do. A lot of people do this. I don't do food delivery to my home. I don't need Grubhub, Uber Eats, Amazon delivery, whatever, whoever does it. I don't need them dropping off food to my home. I don't need them going to the grocery store for me and doing my grocery shopping, and I just go there and pick it up or have them deliver groceries to my door. No, no, double no. That's a no for me. Right? Now, again, if you do it, I'm not mad at you. If you have a reason you can't get around for some reason, you have a disability or you're unable to, you have an injury or whatever it may be. If you do it, cool. I'm not mad at you. I'm really not mad at you. I promise you. We can disagree and still be friends. Give me a hug, virtual hug. Cool. We good. Now, I'm not doing that. I just would not feel right being able body and being able to run to the store and not doing it. Now, listen, some people probably would say, hey, that's probably what the person said when the first remote control to the TV came out, right? Somebody said, I'm not using that remote control because I can get up and turn the channel, right? But in my opinion, food is a different animal. Sometimes literally, right? So I just don't, I've never had anything delivered to me other than a pizza years ago, right? When I was eating pizzas, right? But I just don't understand it. If a person, if you're disabled or hurt, I get it. But for me, that's nothing I'll never buy. I'm not going to pay an extra $5-10 for a sandwich that I could have got in my car and ran around the corner and got myself. It's a $12 sandwich, and by the time I get done paying somebody to drop it off, it's $24. Not to mention, let's talk about the biggest piece of this. I'm really funny about my food. And I got somebody at a store making my food who I'm not looking at and seeing and watching necessarily. I got somebody picking it up who I'm not watching and necessarily knowing. And I got this person delivering it. And who's handling my food? I don't like, listen, it's bad enough when I have to go to a restaurant. We got a cook in the back and the cook is cooking the food. Okay, cool. Now it comes to the cook, to the server, to my table. But listen, my food is 5 miles away and it's going through, first of all, it had to go through about 3 or 4 hands before it got to the restaurant. Then it get to the restaurant, it got to go through a couple other hands. Then it got to go through the person who's bringing it to me. Then it got to sit on the porch. Look, I don't want, and I'm going to eat it. Right? Okay, if it's a candy bar or something that's in a package, I get it. But it's a sandwich. I don't want my sandwich going through all those hands before I touch it. Maybe I'm a picky person. But how do you have drinks and food delivered to you? I'm not going to do it. It's just not something I would do. Right? Unless I couldn't get out. Right? But even people that I know people that have like I know a cousin of mine who has a somebody drop off at the grocery what do they call it? They have somebody shop for them at the grocery store, and then they either go pick it up or have it delivered to their home. And I'm saying, do you really want somebody picking out your apples? Right? Apples is one of those things that apples have to be firm all the way around. They can't have any bad spots in the apple when I buy the apple or the pear. I want to look at I want to see the orange. You know, what does the banana look like? I don't want somebody touching my grapes, right? I don't want you touching my grapes, putting it in a cart, in a bag, then you put it in a cart, then you had to run it through the I don't want somebody touching my fruit, right? I'm pretty picky about that. So I don't want to have people dropping off food. I don't want anybody shopping. Food is important. Remember, if we go back 150 years ago, 250 years ago, humans were connected to their food. And in my opinion, we still should be as connected as possible to the food we're going to put in our bodies, right? Now listen, I don't have a farm. Okay. I don't have a farm. I'm not growing tomatoes in the back, although I wouldn't mind doing that. I love to do that. I love to reharvest rainwater and all that kind of stuff. I watch that type of stuff, right? I'm interested in it. I'd love to do it someday, have a garden, right? Where I grow my own stuff, but I don't do it right now. So I'm gonna try to get as close to the food coming out of the ground or coming out of as I can. And the way I do that is by grocery shopping for myself and not having them drop off sandwiches to my house. I just can't do it. I don't feel comfortable with it. Some people do, some don't. I get it. But I don't do very much fast food, right? I try to eat. Now, that's one place I will splurge on is I'll buy good food, right? I shop at Natural Grocers and Whole Foods, but I just don't want to have somebody else dropping off food to my home. I will never, even though I can afford it, I'll never buy that. I'll never spend an extra $10 for somebody to drop off something that I could have I don't want to get lazy about eating. I don't want to get lazy about my food. And I'm not calling you lazy. I'm just thinking in my own mind, maybe it's just me having my own perception, but I don't want to get to the point where I just am like sitting and food is brought to me. This is brought to me. Next thing you know, somebody gonna be, waiting in the restroom for you, right? To after you come out the restroom, to get you cleaned up. I mean, we getting to a level on this thing that is getting interesting. But hey, I'm keeping it 100 here, right? But the point is I just don't want to get to that level where I can move and I won't even go out and get my own food. I'm not harvesting my own food. I'm not growing my own food. So the least I can do is go to the place where the manufacturer dropped it off and pick it up and choose it. That's the beauty. I get to choose what I get, right? So, hey, that's something I will never buy, even if I can afford it. Don't forget, guys, hit the thumbs up button for me. If you're getting here late, rewind it back to the beginning. We're going through. I'm just trying to be transparent with you guys, right? Just trying to be transparent and tell you some things that I wouldn't buy. And this is sort of how I kind of have this sort of frugal living thing going on. I'm a pretty frugal guy. I think I'm sort of frugal, right? And I think that shows. Let's see here. Some people eat the grapes in the store. Yeah, I've seen that. Testing grapes in the store. Next thing you know, half the vine is gone. Yeah, people pick on grapes and they touch stuff. So I'm big about when I buy fruits, bringing it home and making sure I wash it. I have a little spray that I purchase and buy that washes it off. It's filled with vinegar and other stuff. And I wash off fruit, rinse off that stuff, let it sit for a minute. But I try to wash off all the fruit that I get because you just don't know. Everything I buy is pretty much, like I said, I spend a lot of money on food. I say 90% of the food I purchase is going to be organic, even the fruits and obviously the fruits and so forth. But I still wash it very thoroughly. It's very important. All the handling and stuff. You don't know what's getting on that stuff. Even if it's organic, you still don't know for sure what's on it or if it's authentic organic, right? So guys, you got to hit that thumbs up for me. By the way, I didn't say it earlier, but my partner, as always, is Mint Mobile on this video. Mint Mobile Premium. Listen, we're talking about frugality, right? One of the ways I stay frugal is with Mint Mobile Premium wireless services. They cut the cost. How do they cut the cost? Because you don't see any Mint Mobile stores anywhere. They don't have stores. They don't have salespeople that are sitting out at stores where they got to pay a bunch of money. It's all online. And so Mint Mobile, and they have great customer service. You can keep your phone number. Excellent service. I use them, Mint Mobile. There's a link to them in the description box below. We also have a membership that is linked in the description box below, a membership to our other paid membership over there on another site away from YouTube, where we're getting in more into investing in single stocks, and we do some of this behind the scenes type stuff as well. You can join me over there. It's a link in the description box of this video as well. Also, if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. We talk all things money. We talk economy. We talk stocks, etc. We talk a lot of different things in terms of managing, handling, budgeting, getting better, money mindset, all those things, right? To make you better with money, make you more money as much as I can. So please consider becoming a subscriber, but also check out some of the other videos we got. We got some link to those down below, and get your 24 laws of money in the description box as well. So I wanted to bring that stuff out. I get going and I forget about talking about that stuff. Let's go to number 9. Number 9 on the list. Hey, much love from Phoenix. Good to have you here, Brian. We just got quoted $700 to do our house sun shades. Then I thought that if I can do that, why couldn't I? Went to Home Depot for tools and did it for $250. Fantastic. Fantastic. Love it. Love it. Love it. Let's see here. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. My frugal tip: order food from restaurants using their app. Don't order drinks. Take the food home. Yeah, I can't remember the last time I actually ordered a drink from a place. I'm all water, guys. Let's see. Whole Foods sells organic. Some Whole Foods is really like a regular grocery store. I'd rather go to a farmer's market or natural grocers than a Whole Foods. Is they sell some healthy stuff, but Whole Foods is like going to your local grocery store. They're not as healthy as they say they are. But I saw a video saying all produce has so many germs, people touching it. Absolutely. Has tons of germs, right? Let's see here. Number 9. Let's go to number 9. Number 9 is 9 things I'll never buy, even if I can afford it. Number 9 is jewelry. I own 2 watches. Both of them need batteries right now. Still need batteries for the last year or 2. I don't know. I don't wear jewelry, right? No rings, no watches. I do have a gold bracelet. I only wear it like once a year. But I had it for like 20, 25 years or something, right? So I just don't wear jewelry. I don't feel comfortable with a bunch of stuff wrapped around my fingers and stuff. That's just me. So I'm not going to go out and buy the big old gold chain, right? I'm not going to buy the necklace or the bracelets. If you notice, I've done more than 700 or 800 videos. 600 are on YouTube. I haven't had a piece of jewelry on any of them because I don't spend money on jewelry, right? Even though I can afford jewelry, I just don't spend money on it. I just don't buy it. You will never see a piece of jewelry hanging on me. Nothing wrong with it. If you do it, I'm not mad at you. Cool. I just don't buy jewelry, right? Just don't do it. Some honorable mentions. I think jewelry is, if I buy any gold, it's going to be gold. It's going to be a bar of gold, it's going to be an ounce of gold what is gold selling at? A little over $2,100, $2,200, $2,300 right now. It'll be an ounce of gold. It ain't going to be in jewelry, right? It's going to be an ounce of gold or 5 ounces of gold, spend about 10 grand or so, but I'm not going to buy jewelry. Now, let me give you some honorable mentions, right? I don't do fireworks and Halloween costumes. Never bought that stuff. I stopped buying that stuff for my kids probably in 2004, maybe. Long time ago. And I haven't bought fireworks ever. I almost had my thumb blown off when I was a young child with fireworks. And I used to live in apartments growing up, and we did all the stuff where you put the bottle rocket by somebody's door in the hallway and you run out, boom, did all that kind of stuff, right? But I don't mess with fireworks anymore, right? And I don't do Halloween costumes and all that kind of stuff, right? I do buy Christmas gifts, but I have a strict, tight budget for that. One other weird, odd thing about me that you probably will never know, and nobody probably knows in general, but I've never had a birthday party, right? I don't get into birthday party. Don't go out and spend a whole bunch of money for birthdays and all that kind of stuff. I just don't do all that type of stuff. Don't spend money on that. That's an honorable mention, right? Anything else I can think of that I don't splurge or spend a lot of money on at all. But that's you guys got a really solid insight into a frugal man today. A frugal man today who doesn't spend a bunch of money, who spends a lot of money investing their money, who spends a lot of money investing in, real estate, stock market, ETFs, index funds. And I think one of the reasons that I've been able to build some wealth in my lifetime is because I don't need a lot of stuff to make me feel good. I don't need to buy things or surround myself with things. I don't need the new car. I don't need the rims on my car. I don't need the fancy clothes. I don't need the fancy shoes. I don't need some of these things that people spend a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of money on. I don't need the jewelry, right? Hey, the moving boxes is something that was a quick tip, but I don't need the expensive things, the newest technology, the latest this, latest that. I just don't need things. And when you untether yourself to things, it matures you in a way that allows you to say, okay, maybe I can grow money. Maybe I can do what I'm supposed to do with money and take this money, and instead of buying things that may ultimately go down in value, maybe I can go buy things that go up in value. I can buy assets, right? And then in 20 years, I can have a $500,000 worth of assets because they grew over time because I was patient and I didn't have to go out and get the latest this, the latest that, and try to keep up with the Joneses to look a certain way. No, right? I just don't have to do it. One honorable mention might be the fact of uh, expensive vacations. That's something that I just and you may be saying, well, okay, relax a little bit. You got $1 million net worth, and I totally get that because if you're a really frugal person like I've been all my life, it's difficult to then turn around and say, "I'll just go spend some money on something." No, that's kind of difficult for me, right? And people don't really talk about that aspect of it. But for you to say, right now, I could probably go buy a $30,000 car, right? Right? That's not wouldn't be a big deal for me to go buy a $30,000 car. But here's the deal: once you've done something for 20 or 30 years or 40 years and you've lived a certain way, it's not easy to just say go splurge on something, right? Because you got to wrap your mental mind around spending something on something that you've never spent it on before, and it becomes difficult, right? And I think I'm gonna do a video about that because a lot of people, that's one thing we don't talk about much. How do you actually loosen up and start spending a little money when you have a little money if you want to? But here's the kicker: I may not want to. And listen, if you have a net worth of $1 million and you don't want to spend or splurge, you don't have to. It's not a big deal, right? Sometimes you can get joy. See, people that tell you, "Oh, go ahead and splurge on something." People that tell you that think that splurging on something is going to bring it because it brings them joy. It's supposed to bring you joy too, right? But what brings the Walla Mala joy, or what brings Precious Love joy, or what brings Pablo joy, or what brings Nigel joy is not the same thing that brings me joy, right? So maybe what brings me joy is taking that $30,000 instead of buying a new car, taking that $30,000 and dispersing it to the ETFs that my grandchildren are invested in. Maybe that brings me joy, right? Or maybe instead of getting that manicure, pedicure, massage that brings Rhonda joy, that don't do it for me. I'd rather spend that 150, 200, $300 investing in a stock. That brings me joy. Or taking that $300 and go doing something for one of my rental properties, putting it towards getting new gutters or getting the landscaping done. See, so we have to be careful when we try to project what we like onto other people. And that's why I said at the beginning of this, the whole disclosure was these are things that I will never buy, even if I could afford it. Because what I do and what brings me joy is different than you. You have your own set of things that you'll never buy. And they could be totally different than the things that I'll never buy. But here's the kicker. We can still be friends, right? We can still respect each other, which is on the internet sometimes that's not really that popular nowadays, right? Disagreeing, but still having respect enough for each other to like each other, right? So people always ask me, and I'll bring this to another example. People always ask me, like somebody mentioned the Robert Kiyosaki and the person who wrote the book. What's his book? They had the 4 quadrants in it. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Listen, the way he goes about doing it is not the way I go about doing it, but I can respect him. Dave Ramsey, the way I agree with a lot of what he says, but there's a few things I don't agree with. But just because I don't agree with him doesn't mean I can't respect him and listen to him and take what I can from him or from another creator, another author, right? And that's we have to be understanding about some of these likes and dislikes. And so if I don't buy new cars, but you like to buy a new car, I'm not mad at you for doing that. It's not what I would do. And I have specific reasons for why I wouldn't. But it doesn't mean I don't like you. It doesn't mean I don't respect you. It doesn't mean I don't appreciate you for some of the other things that I agree with that you do. And that's what that's one thing that I try to do on these internet streets out here is make sure that I'm not, just because I don't do something doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't do it. There's many different ways to go about reaching this financial freedom. There's many different ways to go about reaching to have more money, to build your wealth, right? And we got to be understanding of that. And that's kind of where I'm at on this thing, right? So these are the 9 things that I never buy, even though I could afford them. And I threw in a few extras in there, right? Do me a favor, guys. Let me know in the comments, if you watch this on the replay, what are some things that you don't buy? On the replay, feel free to drop that in the comments. I'm curious, right? Let's see. Let me go back to the chat real quick. No questions. Any questions, put a Q in there. I will answer. I will answer. I will answer. Somebody said a head massage. Joy is a walk in the summer. Joy is a walk on a summer day. Absolutely. I mean, I really enjoy getting outside, walking in nature. And it just, as you get older, those little things do help. They help a lot, and they bring me a lot of joy, at least. Pablo said, I buy all my jeans from Walmart. Ain't nothing wrong with a Walmart pair of jeans. If somebody can look at you and spot you and say, hey, those are Walmart jeans, they're good. They're real good. And the other question is, do you really care? Right? Who cares I've never cared what people who don't know me think about me. Right? I'm not really, I say I don't care. That's been a little harsh. I would say it doesn't concern me that much. Right? So I don't care really about clothes and things like that. I like to look good though. You see me out, you'll never know I was really, really frugal and all that good stuff. Guys, we got to get those likes up. Don't forget, smash the like button for me. Thank you, Mrs. Moore. Guys, I'm going to have 20,000 likes on this video, right? Frugal living and frugal living tips. Somebody said, no, so many things I don't buy. A lot of his teachings are outdated and don't work nowadays. Yeah, I'm not big on them, but that's okay. Doesn't mean I don't like him. I splurge at the Dollar Tree too. Nothing wrong with splurging at Dollar Tree. Don't buy expensive handbags, designer handbags. Yeah, okay. Of course, I would never buy a handbag. That's for sure. 4 mile a day walk does wonders for me. Absolutely. Walking is the absolute best exercise. Here's what I do when I walk. Let me share this with you guys. When I walk, there's several days a week when I walk, I'll do squats or I'll do push-ups. Like every half mile, I'll drop down and do 30 push-ups, 25, 30 push-ups. Or every half mile, I'll do push-ups and I'll do, 15 squats. Can't do a lot of squats because I got a bad knee. But Yeah, you can intermingle some other calisthenic stuff into your walking to make it even that much better. Sometimes I'll walk at a place that has a monkey bar. Is it a monkey bar? A little thing you pull yourself up. I'll knock out, 7 of those every half mile along with 25 push-ups, right? Just so I can get sort of a full body workout along with walking. But sometimes I'll just walk by itself. So if I was going to do another channel on YouTube, it would be a health channel about exercise and about eating, because I'm really big on those two things. Let's see. My hobby is going to Goodwill on the weekend, look for interesting, cheap things. Yeah, when I used to have an eBay store that was full time, I still have about 80 things on. No, I have about 60 things on eBay. I just shipped some shoes yesterday from eBay. So I still have a few things on eBay. If you go to Google and type in Smart Money Bro and eBay, you'll come to my store because it's right there. But I used to do a lot of my sourcing at Goodwill. And what's the other one? Goodwill, Salvation Army, local thrift stores. I would even hit a few consignment stores. Sometimes you can get some decent stuff at consignment. I would hit estate sales. I would hit up garage sales. And so, yeah, you all would, if you don't shop at Goodwill, you would be shocked at the things people throw out, because we live in a society of excess. And since we're in a society of excess, people get rid of like really nice things. I mean, unworn clothes, unworn shoes. I mean, expensive unworn shoes, right? So there's nothing wrong with, if you want to shop or go out to Goodwill and look for bargains and things like that, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Or, garage sales, estate sales. Let's see here. Walking builds wisdom. Absolutely. I like Coach and Kevin Klein. One of my guys I like to watch on YouTube is, let me give a shout out to him. Funk Roberts. Check out his page. Also, let me give a shout out to JT, the Pocket Watcher. He has a great YouTube channel where he looks at these scammers and gurus and so forth, and really dissects them and breaks them down. Then look at Mommy Trader. She pops in sometime to these. She has a good channel, investing channel. And then you want to look at Fun and Budget with Tanisha. I like to check her channel out as well. And I have a list of a whole bunch of good channels, guys, out here. And so I'm going off in tangents, but I hope you guys are okay with that. Sometime I do. Never say never. Pedicure. When you hit your 70s, you'll be glad to get help in reaching your toes. No, Gwen. I'm going to be reaching my toes hopefully till I'm 90. Right? That's the kicker. Reaching my toes until I'm 90. If I can do that, I'd be very, very happy. No, we'll see. Have you read or listened to? Yes, I have Stop Acting Rich downstairs. I have The Millionaire Next Door downstairs. And I have another one of his downstairs. I think he got 3 of them. I got all 3 of Stanley's books downstairs. Yeah, great books. Thanks for bringing that up, James. Appreciate it. I love Macy. So let me jump off here, guys. I appreciate you spending your Saturday with me. I really do. I thank you so much for being here. I thank you for your chat. I thank you for your friendly back and forth in the chat. I didn't have to kick anybody out of the chat today. That's always great when I don't have to remove somebody from the channel, because when I remove you from the whole channel, right? I would get rid of you off the internet if I could, but I guess just get you off the channel. So we didn't have any of that today. I appreciate you guys helping each other and talking in the chat. That's always good. I don't have all the answers. I'm just here to share with you my journey and what's helped me, and hopefully that'll help you guys as well. So I appreciate you so much for being here. Stylish, Rhonda, 6'9", Black Gal, Bruce Wayne, Ohio Ties, Precious Love, Mrs. Moore, Gwen. I appreciate you and your thoughts and your comments. Is Joe in here? Maybe not Joe. Dave is here. Appreciate you, Walla Mala. Appreciate you, Wayne. Precious Love. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Don't forget, hit the like button if you haven't already hit the like button. Share the video. One of the ways you can really help this video is to share the link with somebody else who you know, family, friends, loved ones. Mrs. Moore, thank you. And don't remember what we talked about. Mrs. Moore may need you coming up here shortly. We'll see as a moderator. So keep that in mind. Maybe there's a few others of you that I talked about maybe being moderators. We could talk about that. I appreciate you. Don't forget to drop a comment below. Let me know some things that you'll never buy, even if you could afford it. All right. You guys have an awesome day. And as I always say at the end of every video, the best person to take care of the old you is that young you who's vibrant, who has some time, who has a lot of energy, who has a lot of things going for them. That's the best person to take care of the old you, not the state, not the government, not your grandkids, not your children, not the nursing home. It's the young you. Take care of yourself and take care of other people. Until the next video, peace.